for either Michael or Charles, just tell us a little bit about the story of New World. Why is it called New World? What world are you trying to build?
All right, so I'll take this one. So starting just from the premise of it itself, right? New World is an open world MMO, and it pits players against this haunted wilderness of Eternum. It's a supernatural island that was discovered during the twilight of the age of exploration. And it's a very unique setting because we have swords, guns, and magic, and they're all viable elements within this world. So you have third-person action combat, classless character system, deep crafting, trade skills, and we have this use to improve system. So the more you do an activity, the better you get at it. So if I'm using sword and board, I'm going to get more abilities and passive abilities unlocked as I use that. Same thing if I'm out gathering or if I'm smithing. The more I do those activities, the better at them I get.
Yep.
But going back to kind of the premise, you're a navigator on board of a ship and you crash into this deadly storm, right? And you wake up immortal on this island of Eternum. So you don't know how you survived, but it's this horrific supernatural place. And what you do is you find out there's fates worse than death as you start meeting the people that are there and what they've discovered.
Michael, no, fate's worse than death? No.
Things worse than death, like taxes, right? So you have this experience of trying to discover what's going on here and this rise of this corrupted power that keeps growing. Then it has the word is escaping me. It wants to get to the old world and conquer everything.
Got it.
And you're part of a group trying to stop that. But alongside that, there's also this infighting amongst the humans that are already there and the factions that are vying for control over this place. So this is what kind of makes it the New World.
That's great. So the first thing I noticed when I jumped into New World, like you said, it was the combat. So I noticed that as you do the combat, obviously you as a person get better at it, but also your skills level up and you start doing more damage. You get more XP from those combos. And in terms of like weapons and classes and things like that, can you just go over just a few of those weapons and classes that you can get better at in combat?
Sure, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I first started playing, like, I guess ages ago, even in the preview, I played more melee, more tanky kind of characters. So I'd go with like a sword and board, or I'd go with the giant warhammer. I would play to like absorb a ton of hits, so I'd go with a lot of heavy armor. But this time around, I went to play more as a mage. And so I went with the fire staff and the ice gauntlet. That's so I could start nuking down enemies from far. And then if they approached me, able to seal myself up in like a tomb of ice, regenerate my mana, burst out, do a ton of like AoE dots and keep on the move. So you can start mixing and matching things, and each weapon has a different set of stats. The lighter armor that you wear is going to allow you to move faster, dodge further, but also do more attack damage because you're lighter. Where you go heavy armor, you're going to move slower, but you're going to be able to absorb a lot of hits. But again, you can mix and match these things. So if you want to play more of kind of like a battle mage, I'm going to look for equipment with stats that's going to be high in int. I'm going to equip gems on my equipment that's going to do like more elemental types of damage, depending on the types of enemies that I'm going against. That's how I can kind of self-select into the role that I want to play during PvE.
Excellent.
And even PvP as well.
That was so. I'm gonna get to the PvP because that was, in my opinion, the most exciting part of this. But I wanted to get Charles involved. Charles, what can I ask you about? What can you tell us about New World? Because I want you to gush with passion about this game.
No, something that I'm really excited about, like on the visual side, aesthetically, this time period and this setting is really interesting because it's kind of historical but fantasy all kind of at the same time. This period in real history is really interesting because the scholars at the time thought there was this mythical substance that they could turn lead into gold, and there's all these folk tales about mermaids and like horrible monsters in the ocean and krakens. And so our setting, we wanted it to be like, what if all of that stuff was real? What if that was sort of the premise of the game, and then we sort of built on it from there? What are these different groups? What are they trying to do? What are they fighting over? And how does the magic and all of that affect the world all around you? So we wanted the world itself to really like represent this big like epic struggle with all these different groups like manifest in the world itself as you explore.
Is the New World, is that the North American continent? Like I was trying to figure it
No.
out. I wasn't sure what it was.
No, definitely
No,
not at all. I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say it's somewhere in the Atlantic. Like some people might refer to it as Atlantis or Shangri-La.
Oh,
or
okay.
some other mythical place. Like we really bought into the whole idea of this place of myth and legend, and a lot of things may have originated here that have gotten dispersed throughout human history.
Got it.
So those are part of the riddles to solve once you come to this place.
Okay.
It's very familiar yet strange.
No,
at the
yeah,
same
that's
time.
you're exactly right. Because when I jumped in, I was like, eventually, is this story going to pay off, and I'm going to be like I said, in North America, and then all the magic disappears, and then it's just the normal world. I was like, well, I'm not sure. We'll see. So I appreciate you elaborating on that a little bit. Also, let's move to PvP because I think for me the most exciting part of New World was just the massive scale of PvP battles that you guys are putting on. I got to take part in one, and I think it was it 40 on 40 or 50 on 50? It was something, it could have been larger. And just, if you could tell the audience a little bit about that PvP experience.
Sure, that's about our territory control. So you have players that join companies and join factions, and those factions can fight over territories in a tournament. And once you have control of the territory, you can kind of control the taxes on a plethora of different things that make money for the territory. But you also upgrade all of the refining stations. So if you need to make certain types of armor sets, there's like a tier requirement that you have to have with the station. And so there's going to be certain towns that are like, they invested a lot in making sure like, oh, you know what, we're going to have the best leather crafting here, or we're going to have the best smithing. And so you're going to want to venture to those towns, but it also depends on what their tax rate is. Death and taxes.
Real life, yeah.
Real life just somehow makes its way to New World. But what's awesome is you can compete for this. Say like, you know what, I don't like the way that they're running this location, or the more territories that my faction controls, then I get discounts, or I can actually transfer items from my storage to another location without having to actually travel there. So there's benefits to owning multiple territories within the world. And so companies will fight over these locations. And so what happens is you'll build up enough control or reputation. In fact, you will get enough reputation in order to declare war onto another territory. And so once you've done that and you go to war, it's 50 on 50 battles, and the winner gets control of that entire territory.
That's right. We won, by the way, just so you know. I want to make sure you knew that we won our PvP and we took control of that territory.
Yeah, so it behooves anyone who owns that territory to set up a bunch of town projects so you can start upgrading your defenses. That's so you try to give yourself as many tactical advantages as possible before entering war.
Gotcha. So we have another question from chat, actually. Zdrak was asking, any big changes since the alpha from last year?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll start this off, Charles, and then you can jump in at any time.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So 2 new end game zones, so Reekwater and Ebonscale Reach. A ton more quest variety, so not just go kill X amount of things or go loot X amount of chests. So we've really did a big sweep on making sure that there's more types of interactions, more NPCs out in the world to discover. We added a ton of voiceover for our NPCs with lip sync as well. We added brand new game modes, so we have Outpost Rush, so it's another type of battle that you can go into to vie over control and get brand new rewards. So new PvP modes. And then there's open world PvP with faction control points, which is a new addition. Mm-hmm. So if your faction can take over one of these forts, basically a faction control point, they get additional bonuses, and then the rep also moves up quickly in order to declare war. So it can be anything from increased storage size to increased discounts and cooldown reductions for fast traveling around the world. So they're highly incentivized to take over.
Gotcha.
We also added 3 new weapons. We added the spear, the rapier, the ice gauntlet.
Yeah, Charles, Charles is trying to jump in too. Charles, what else? What else have we added?
Like the one of the big ones, which we were just showing off, expeditions, is something we've added.
Yeah.
All these different spaces, you can go take a group and deep dive into these different dungeons, try to like get some of the epic loot and uncover more of the story in a more controlled, like handheld experience that I think a lot of players enjoy.
Yeah, are you guys ready? Because this game's coming out in 2.5 months. Like,
well, we're so excited.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, like,
absolutely ready. Like we want players to come and participate with us. So right now we have the alpha, which is running, but everyone will be able to join us if you pre-order for our closed beta event, which starts July 20th. And then, full launch August 31st, where we're all going to play together.
My gosh,
I'm the secrets of Eternum.
I'm genuinely very, like I said, I pre-ordered it last year just to play the alpha, so I'm definitely in on the beta. Hopefully, I'll see you guys out there. So thank you again for joining us, Michael and Charles. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Of course, anytime. All right. After this break, we're going to just take a really, really short break. We've got an exclusive Rust trailer to reveal, and so much more. So stay tuned to the Twitch Gaming Gathering.